Here it comes, live from a studio in the middle of nowhere. It's the Echoes of New Eden Podcast. Welcome your hosts, Rambo and Taylor.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Echoes of New Eden. What episode is this? Is this 15?
I don't know. Maybe this is 15 or 16, and the on-air chat is already lit with the guys giving me shit about, hey,
16.
guess what? There's 20 guys, 4 jumps over. Maybe you ought to wake up and pay attention. Thanks, guys. Santiago is here with us, so I really appreciate it, you bastards. Like, I'm not upset at him. Now I'm upset at you, Snacks. You're in my own damn alliance. Thanks.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I wanted to ask Max, where's that revelation at?
Yeah, where is that revelation, Snacks?
It's probably in low sec still.
It's high sec mining. That's where it's at. Oh my gosh.
Oh, great. He wants to be unmuted already.
Oh boy.
I don't know. Taylor, I'll give you the discretion on that.
Okay, we'll get to it in a minute. How about that? We got like a lot to talk about today, but I'm sure when we get into that conversation, Snacks, you can have your few words on your revelation. So,
What?
Traded? He probably got a Nidhogger. That's probably what happened.
All right. So for this week's episode, man, we have a lot on the plate. We're going to talk about the AMA. We got some game announcements. Let's see, what else do we got? Some patch note stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Some official media stuff. Player support news. Probably won't go over that stuff because it's all kind of known, I guess.
Right. Really, with the patch notes, I mean, they attempted to fix local only to make it somewhat better and somewhat worse at the same time. It's just amazing how much they can fiddle with it and never get it right.
Yeah. Well, I did see, and this is probably going to be in the AMA, but I did see a snippet where they said that they actually have it fixed. They have local fixed on their, I guess, on their test server that they implement the updates on and test them. But they are implementing it into the live server in increments. So each update, I guess it's going to get better. So they say. In
increments, I know enough about code to make that just sounds funny. It's like, well, today we're going to add the semicolon on line 57.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we're going to add, input. And then we're going to put like a caret or like what are you just typing the code out one letter at a time each week? I don't understand. That just makes it's called copy and paste.
I'm hoping that it's in the AMA. I haven't glanced at all the questions in the AMA just yet, but I'm hoping it's in there because I'm pretty sure someone had asked about that during the AMA. I mean, why take that chance to do so? I mean,
yeah.
So you can actually get an answer from them. So yeah, we'll be talking about that stuff. Game news. It's Zen's favorite thing on the show is to talk about game news. I know it's a real sleeper.
Yeah, it usually is.
But I mean, this is an official Eve Echoes podcast, and
sure.
We do our thing with talking about the game news. And then also we have the for special guests today, we will have Promised One, and I'll probably torture the name Sanenightmare on the show later.
Isn't it just Sane Nightmare? Isn't that what it is?
Sane Nightmare. Wow.
I just read it as Sane Nightmare, but we can go with Sena Hamar. We can say it like that. If that's go with your pronunciation.
We'll have them on the show, and we'll be talking about the Mercenary Coalition. It's coming back.
Yeah, the MC guys. Yep.
And
not to be confused with MC Hammer. That's right, Rambo.
Rambo. And then afterwards, we'll have Santiago on. If I said his name right. And we'll be giving you some shit.
Please do. I'm looking forward to it. That's actually kind of a. I've told this story so often about what happened, but it was actually kind of a. I don't know. I come away from it with it's always a learning experience when you lose a ship, and if you're going to fly a ship like a carrier, then you should plan on losing it, and when you do, learn from it. So in that aspect, it was cool. Not that I want him to come and do it again when I roll out my second one, but
And we're going to talk about all the things to not do when you're flying a carrier.
Exactly.
And then also we got a war update. Breaking news as of today. It sounds like the closing of the ongoing war currently with SHHNO, basically the Philly Coalition.
Yep.
And ZRQ, AOA, SOS, etc. Those corps. So talk a little bit about that, and that's the show.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good.
All right, bud. Start us off with the announcement.
All right, we'll go right into those. The first, I guess the first one I'll hit real quick is just the corp recruitment poster contest is over. We've got our top 3. In first place was Red Machine's poster, which I like. I like that poster quite a bit. It got 2,519 votes, so that was your first place. Creator is Sinja, Corporation Voltage, but it's Red Machine Alliance. Number 2 that came in creator was Ford Perfect. Corporation was Fragua, I guess, Fragua. That's some kind of a pasta. I don't know. But they got 1,736 votes. And in number 3, third place, creator was Zero Karma, Corporation Red Scorpions. That's a nice little scorpion on there that's snapping a Balgorn and something, a hurricane maybe in half. It's pretty good.
Yep.
Those 3 are awesome. Those are your 3 top 3, 1, 2, and 3. And then there's a whole bunch of other smatterings that get into 4th through 10th place. I don't think the guy that's doing that had like 6 different submissions, I don't think he placed in the top 20.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did not. I'm looking at it again. So, he had some good posters though. So, but
he had some good posters, but I don't know if they were. I don't know.
Kingsman.
Yeah, Kingsman Industries. I don't know if he had implemented into his poster what they were looking for as far as creativity or whatever.
Right. So no, good job
but my
to those.
Favorite one.
Which one's your favorite one?
My favorite one was the Red Scorpion one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
Their icon, their logo is really cool.
I think my favorite one was the Corporation's Severed Gueristas. They came in somewhere in the top 10, maybe 10th place. Yeah, 10th place, 397 votes. That was really like my favorite one just in terms of the looks because it has kind of a retro look. I got it pulled up on the screen for anybody watching on the YouTube side. It just has that nice retro look to it. I enjoy it. But, yeah, that's cool. So that contest came and went really fast, and unlike some of the other contents, other contests, they're saying they're going to have the medals, I guess, for the winners of these out pretty quick, like in the next week or two, unlike all the other competitions we've had that people haven't been awarded anything on yet.
So, don't hold your breath.
I know. I'm not, but it's kind of funny for them to announce that. But I don't know. Maybe they're doing things a little differently. We'll see. But fun competition. Good work by everybody. Let's see. Then we get into some of the other. They got the AMA stuff pulled up as well, but I guess really with the patch notes, there's nothing crazy there. Nothing really added into the game per se. For that,
they had a ban notice.
They did have a ban notice. 612 accounts banned. Most of those, of course, from abnormally behavior. 89.87% of those for abnormal anomaly behavior. So that's interesting. That number is so low. That number is just so low.
Remember when it used to be like 20,000?
Yeah, I remember when it used to be a huge number. Yeah. So, yeah, Rambo, you're really low. I've got you cranked up to 150%, but all of a sudden you're still really low, and people are noticing it. Just I don't know if there's anything you can do on your end.
Let me switch my headphones in.
Okay. So of course we got Cartley that's now posting up a lot of this stuff, and then she posted up the 3 new mysterious and mighty ships will soon be available to all. I think this is hysterical. We all know which 3 these are. So yeah, Rambo is broadcasting from the bottom of a well. So he's out in the middle of nowhere, guys. He's still sitting out by in the dark, either by a fire or in pitch black. So he's not quite set back up in his new studio yet.
No, I'm not set it back up yet. But is this any better?
That is much better. To me, it sounds better.
This is my old headset. I tried using a new headset, but I guess I'll just play music on those. But yes, I'm still in the middle of nowhere, and it's currently a no burn right now, so I can't even have a campfire. So
that sucks.
But sorry. Anyway, continue.
No, so here's my prediction, because this is what seems to happen to us every week. We come on the show, we have all this stuff we talk about and we update, and then tomorrow morning, like not even 6 hours after we've posted a show, they lay on some brand new big information for us.
Right.
And so since there was no major update this week, or any kind of an update at all, just 2 weeks in a row basically of market updates. Damon, you posted something and then deleted it. Anyway, since there's basically...
I've seen it.
Exactly. Since there's just 2 weeks of just nothing but just a market update, bullshit shenanigans stuff, and then they laid this out yesterday with the 3 ships saying, who am I? And we can tell that one's an Orca, one's the Rorqual, and one's the Noctis. I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to bet that tomorrow morning something will hit about the industry update, and then all of a sudden next week on Tuesday or Wednesday we'll have the update for the industry. They'll just drop it on us right out of the blue. That's my prediction. So
and to remind everybody as well, re-roll your Concord missions.
Yep, tonight.
And don't launch your planetary just yet. So do that. But yeah, to add on to that, it's like every time we have a show, we upload it. Then like 2 hours later, we get new information. I had this problem back last season when I released my show on Monday nights, and like 2 hours later, the next week's patch notes would come out. So like, oh, okay. So this season, we're like, okay, we're going to change it to after the patch notes, which it is after the patch notes, yes, but we are still getting information after the show airs, which, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. Now we're getting it on the Friday. Oh well. Yep. So that's my prediction. It must mean that industry update's coming next Wednesday, which would be or whenever the patch is for you, whether that's a Tuesday or a Wednesday. For me, it always feels like it's a Wednesday morning. So, good times.
Excited.
I'm excited for it too. So.
What's the in that photo? What's the middle ship? Is that the Orca?
Yeah, in the middle, that's the Orca. Yeah, the Orca kind of looks like a humpback, sort of.
Okay.
So, or at least it does in terms of what they show in the game so far. Does it really look like the same thing inside of EVE Online? I have no idea. I don't think it does. Not quite, but similar.
I think in the AMA they stated that that's going to have like 150,000 M3 ore capacity or something like that.
Yeah, so an Orca is supposed to be double. And we can get into the AMAs right now if you want. We can go through these real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we've got the industrial update AMAs they did over the last week or so, and we've got kind of a quick summary here for the questions that they gave and some of the answers that they gave. And the first question was, are you planning to change the current insurance system because the insurance is making ships out of thin air and buy orders aren't cutting it? That's industry related, right? Here's our insurance question of the day. And the answer was, the purpose of insurance is to reduce the losses of combat players and avoid leaving the game after blowing up the ship. In the future, we will still make some optimizations and improvements around insurance, such as the Eden coin sales order converted from insurance points. What the fuck? They mean ISK? I don't know. The system purchase order generated by insurance and more obvious labels on the display. In the near future, we will activate the Galaxy Insurance buff again, increasing orders from the insurance system. So they're just going to mess around with the insurance a little bit, I guess. I don't know. Maybe Eden Coins is going to be yet another currency. I don't quite understand. I think they're talking about ISK.
Eden Coin sales.
Yeah, I think they mean ISK. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
So the next one, I am excited for the new industrial ships, but worried that the resulting increase in ore supply will crash the ore mineral market, making mining unprofitable. Well, of course. If you just increase the supply without increasing the demand, that's what would happen. Answer is, we will launch more capital ships and corporate buildings in the future to maintain the market demand for ores and minerals. That's kind of a good answer and also a bad answer, but depends on how much it costs to build an Orca and a Rorqual. We're already seeing capitals starting to be built, regardless of their cost, and it's a pain in the ass and whatever. But we're seeing plenty of capitals be built. If the Rorquals take off like that, and they're not 40 billion like some people are telling me they're going to be, then
what?
Yeah, some people are telling me they're going to be like twice that of what a carrier or a dread is, which would be insane.
That's stupid.
You'd have some people get really pissed off if it's going to be that much. So, no, NetEase didn't say that. It's some of the speculation going around though, based off of, if you look at the number of components it takes to build a dread or a carrier in EVE Echoes versus what it takes in EVE Online, you just look at those components and the count on those components and the costs per component, and you compare that to a Rorqual in EVE Online versus EVE Echoes, then you can kind of come up with, if they have the same, statistical ratio. Yes, I was getting ready to post that. Thank you, Damon. If you have the same statistical ratio, then yes, it's going to be about as expensive as what my carrier kill there is of 38.9 billion that we're going to talk to Santiago about later. Notice he's number 2 on that list right there. So, in his Macarial, which is what I should have targeted first. Anyway.
Right?
Yeah, it really is what I should have targeted first. At any rate, getting back to the Q&A. So with the upcoming Indy update, is there any plans to add in ways to sell ore directly to Concord to stabilize ore prices so they don't spiral out of control? And the answer there is selling ore directly to Concord may not be an ideal solution because this mechanism will directly convert ore output into ISK output. The risk will be relatively large. I don't know what they mean by the risk being large. I think the corporation management update, if more and more people start to use that and we start to see how that looks and feels for corporations using it for doing their buybacks, knowing that you don't pay taxes on that, I would think that that's going to start to I got to stop reading the on-air chat. I think that's going to actually start to help in terms of those indie pilots being able to sell their ores back and making decent money without you having to worry about your taxes now getting involved in it. You sell something at, let's say you sell TRID at 2. Well, there's a big difference between selling, 20 million of it to your corporation and having the taxes on it versus selling it at 2 with no taxes on it versus you wanting to haul it out of there. Like who in the hell is hauling ore from nullsec to highsec at this point? Like if you're doing that, then you don't have a very good setup in your alliance or in your corporation for that matter. So I feel bad for you. Hauling for that is just, and no, I'm sorry, compression's not going to save you with that. It's not. Okay, next question. How will we be able to obtain the blueprints of the new industrial ships? And the answer is we will design new anomalous spaces and players can get new ship fragments in them. Blueprints for new industrial ships can be obtained by reverse engineering. So
wonder new type of rally or dead space or just commonly occurring anomaly?
Not sure. It's new anomalous spaces. It's not new things inside of existing anomalies. So it's got to be, that makes it sound like it's something different than just a scout or an inquisitor or, a dead space or whatever else. So yeah, it'd be nice to see, a new anomaly, period. And then when they mean
it's a mining anomaly.
No, God, it's
a mining anomaly.
Well, most anomalies are mining. We just never mine that crappy ore that's there.
That's true. Yeah, you go into a scout. Yeah, the scout, they have rocks there. You can hit them.
Yeah, that's hysterical. That's just, I still think that's cute that they've just left that there. But anyway, and then there's new blueprints as well that can be obtained by reverse engineering from those drops. So that's good. I did not want them to introduce this as, the bunch of blueprints are up on the market and they're 40 million a piece, yeah. And you need 70 of them like they did with Capitals.
The jump to get them first is going to be a hefty inflated price too. So.
Yes. Yep. So people will get ready to make some money when this thing drops, guys. If you're going to go and rat and pick up those fragments to make the blueprints with, regardless of people's skills, people are going to be going nuts over trying to collect that and go for it. So, should be a good time. Should be a good time. Next one: will the Orca have better mining speed than a Covetor 2? And they say, in addition to the bonuses that Orcas can provide, and by that they mean like a mining foreman link or something. I don't know what they're calling it yet, but it is going to give a boost to the other mining ships in the fleet. They say its own mining power will be stronger than a Covetor 2. Now, I remember when they posted this, because I was watching this live, they said something different than what they're saying here. What they're saying here is its own mining power will also be stronger than Covetor 2, and a Rorqual would be better than Covetor 20. That sounds insane.
Covetor 20.
But I think what they meant to say is it'll be better than 2 Covetors, because that's what they said in the original AMA, and the Rorqual will be better than 20 Covetors.
I don't know. I read it as Covetor 20, like version 20.
Well, so I was doing some thinking about that. Let's look at the Rorqual, because the Rorqual will be twice as good as a Covetor 2. Okay, fine. That sounds crazy, but not totally nuts. A Covetor 20 times is insane. A regular Covetor can pull down, well, a good Covetor, nano cord, whatever, not even with integrated rigs, is going to pull down 70,000 cubic meters of ore in 11 minutes. Okay, it's 11 minutes to pull down 70,000. So if it's 20 times that, it's like 1.4 million metric tons of ore every 11 minutes. That's probably the entire belt and some. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, they're gonna have to. They'll add stuff. I'm sure there's gonna be more in the questions, but they're talking about adding more belts and stuff because of this.
They are. All right, next question. Just want to say that I love the new corporation mission interface. I agree, I love it too. Will it be disappearing after the event time that's listed? And they say no. Corporation missions interface is permanent. Don't worry. I don't know if anybody thought that was going to be. I didn't think anybody thought that was going to be temporary. That's weird.
Right.
The next question: will Covetor be able to use mining drones? Oh boy, this gets into a whole ball of wax, doesn't it? The answer: this time there will be 2 types of mining drones: mining drone and excavator mining drone. Covetor can use the former. In fact, all ships that can use large drones can now use mining drones. So the very thing they said they weren't going to do, which is bringing out mining drones, they're now doing. And not only that, they're bringing out 2 types. And not only that, they're large drones, and anything that can fit a large drone can now mine as well. So now I can go mining in my Dominics too.
There you go.
And then I can just dump the ore.
Put some cargo rigs on that.
I mean, seriously, though. You could mine in a battleship, and you could just dump the ore for an Orca to pick up, and then you would have your ability to be able to fight off whatever comes into the belt. So, and then they say the excavator mining drone is equivalent to industrial fighters, so only industrial capital can use it. Now, the thing about that, so that means that's going on the Rorqual. That's what that means. But what I don't get, and what wasn't followed up here in any of these, was what happened to the capital mining laser? Is it gone? Because they said there was going to be
poof.
Yeah, they said there was going to be a capital mining laser, and I assume from this point it's gone. And now they're just going to do it with drones. Because, they fix drones.
Yeah.
I don't know when they fix drones, but apparently they fix drones. Anyway.
I wonder how, if you put those mining drones on a Covetor 2, how much faster you would mine. Depends on how much they pull in, I suppose. But it'll bring that 11 minutes down a little bit.
Oh, yeah. It'll add something to it. You bet. There's 2 of them. Covetor 2s or Covetor? They said Covetor 2s. Yeah, they said Covetor 2s. You'll be able to equip them. So I know they're mediums right now. That means they're going to change those to large. I bet you they'll leave a Covetor as a medium and a Covetor 2 as a large, because that's just stupid. Who flies a Covetor to begin with?
Yeah. Bait.
No, they're going to make a Covetor 2 with larges. That's what they just set up above. All right, next question. Will you be adding rigs related to mining drones, or current industrial rigs are sufficient? And they say current industrial rigs are sufficient. So with the advent of mining drones, there will be no rigs to boost those for now.
Okay.
So there's that.
Whatever.
Yep. Next question. Will you have to target individual asteroids with the excavator drones like Ventures do, or will they be automatic? Will the Orca use strip miners or only drones? And they say there are two types of excavator drones. They use different mining logic. Orca uses drones only. They still don't answer the damn question about the Rorqual.
It's kind of a simple, do you lock the target or no?
Yeah, and they don't answer it. So I imagine you're going to have to lock it like you would with any other drone.
They use a different mining logic. What do they, like, tractor beam the rock and then process it internally? Is that a different logic?
I don't know. What's the real crime here, Damon? Damon's typing in on-air chat. You realize the real crime here, right? What? What did NetEase destroy? He's typing.
Waiting for him. Yeah.
Mo Battle Orca. It has 4 high slots. No Battle Orca. It has 4 high slots. Why can't it be a Battle Orca? We'll see. Next question. What will be the cost of the capital mining ships? Will it be comparable to other capitals like dreads or carriers? And this is when they say the fun answer. It will consume a bit more materials and ores than other existing capital ships. So it's going to be more expensive than a dread or carrier. Just don't know how much. Because it sounds like it's
naturally in ore and planetary costs, but we have no idea what they're going to screw up on the ISK side of it.
Well, hold on. What if the number of components is less? Well, it says comparable to other capitals. Consuming more ores than existing. So yeah, I would say the count of parts is higher.
That's amazing.
Which is amazing, yeah. So, okay. The current tax system is completely unfair as only PvE players pay tax. Can you implement with the new market system that this tax amount is being collected once a month with corporations' points or ISK, please? I'm not totally understanding this person's question. Anyway, for the income balance of industrial players and PvE players, it is a more complicated issue. We observe that PvE players in some clans have a higher voice, while in other clans it is the opposite. We hope that the clan system can help manage, better improve the experience of all types of players in the Corp, and of course with all the clans we'll make sure that their loot can go straight from Valhalla. I just added that at the end. Because, I mean, they start talking about clans. It's like, are we talking about Clash of Clans now? What are we talking about?
It's their language barrier.
Man.
Ships are boats. Corps are clans.
There's guilds. Like, all the language that nobody uses, they use in these AMAs. It's hysterical. I just get a kick out of it. Next question. Will the Venture 4 fit mining drones? The answer is no. Need a large size slot. So it's only large for the mining drones. Let's see. My next question. My question pertains to certain skills for the new industry capitals. With the reverse engineering of blueprints for the ships themselves, will there be a new capital or invention skill, or will it be influenced by the standard or invention skills? And they say the new industrial capital corresponds to the new skill. The original industrial skills will not have a bonus to the industrial capital, and the new industrial skills will not have a bonus to the original industrial ships. So yes, it's an entirely different thing. As we fixed.
More skills. Yay.
Yep, more skills. Yep, there's always more skills, guys. If you have any questions about whether or not some new thing's going to take skills, the answer is yes. It's kind of like if somebody asks you if you're a god, the answer is always yes. Next question. How much ore hold space the Rorqual and Orca are going to have? The Rorqual is going to have 300,000. The Orca is going to have 150,000. So the Orca is going to be double that of a Cov 2. And it would be fantastic if you could fill that hold in the same amount of time as a Cov 2. Going from 70,000
That would be amazing.
To 150,000 and filling in the same amount of time. Likewise with the Rorqual, 300,000. Can you fill that in 11 minutes? You know?
Yeah.
Jesus.
That astonishing numbers.
These are astonishing numbers. Yep. So, next question: will the Rorqual have ore compression, and how will it work? Yes.
Nobody cares.
It has a new module which will help itself or its fleet member compressing the ore in the ore hold. So,
I still don't think anybody will use it.
Man, we'll see. The only way I could say is that you're going to use it is because it's a capital. Think about how long it takes your capital to warp from one point to another. This isn't something you're going to, well, I guess you could SHHNO right into the belt, so then you don't have to worry about the warping time, but you're not going to SHHNO right back to your station because that's in the same, you can't SHHNO inside of the same system, right? So if you look at your warp and align time and think about how long it takes you to go, if you have to go back and forth, and you know you're going to be mining 300,000 metric tons in, let's say it's 20 minutes, right? Well, you don't want to ever leave that belt. You want that one Rorqual in that one belt sucking the whole damn thing down. So you want to shove it over to an Orca, or you want to shove it over to a Cov 2 and let them go and dump it off because they move faster than you do. So then maybe if the compression doesn't cost you that much, you would want to do that because now you can get it 100-fold, right? So now you could fit 3 million metric tons in the Rorqual's ore hold because it's 100 times. Compression's 100 times. So add 2 zeros, it's 3 million. That's a lot of ore. You don't have to ever go back to the station.
That's a lot of ore, yeah.
Yeah. Now, is there that much ore in the belt? Probably not. So
Probably not. There's not that much ore in the system.
There's not that much ore in the system, right? But I mean, I'm not counting compression out just yet. Food for thought, but we'll see. I'm probably wrong on that.
I'm already checked out on it.
Yeah, I'm probably wrong.
For ore compression.
I was so wrong when it first came out. When it first came out, I thought, oh, this is amazing. And I was skilled into it, and I was so excited, and what the whatever.
Yeah, depression starts. Yep.
Oh, yes. Yes, don't remind me. Okay, next question. What will the skill bonuses for the Noctis be? Expert Industrial Ship Command bonuses is the looting range. So Expert Industrial Ship Defense upgrade bonuses, it's cargo hold. So you'll get a bonus for loot range and a bonus for cargo hold on the Noctis. I'm still not sure how much use that ship's going to get either. We'll see. Oh, and then they finally go into some details on the Cov 2. It says, how will the Orca compare to the Cov 2 in yield? And it says 50% better. So double. Yeah, so a couple times now they said double on that. So, and we're almost done, ladies and gentlemen. I know we got a lot of other things to cover. Oh, man, this Q&A goes forever. The industry thing is the biggest stuff. Let's see. Let's skip through some of this. Corporate missions. Corp points are not tradable. Corporate missions are one of the best tools ever put in Eve Echoes, that kind of thing. Anything. Okay, so they say if there's a tool that most players in the game need, we'll consider to add it onto the agenda. Players can also actively give us feedback. Yeah, don't add a calculator, NetEase. Don't listen to people who say you need to add a calculator. Just do the math in your head. Just do the math in your head, guys. Future plans. Will you be releasing test servers for both iOS and Android for the industrial balance patch? And they said no. That's it. Can you confirm?
But we'll make further adjustments based off your feedback. Well, I can't provide feedback if I don't play the dang thing.
Yeah.
Because I can't.
Yep. Yeah, they're not releasing the porpoise, so that's not going to happen. Not maybe in the future. But for right now, no. And then they say, could you confirm if we are expecting a whole host of new skills to fly the Rorqual? And they said, yes, we have new skills. Just get ready. Like, okay. So you're telling me now I should start stacking my skill points. You're telling me that now for next week's drop, because that's my guess.
Just get ready.
That's my guess. Yeah.
You better save those Concord skill points and those Lazarus points.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then they asked about quality. There's some questions about quality of life. There's some questions about future plans and stuff. And a couple things jumped out at me. First off, they say, we hope to give players a new experience by providing more industrial ships, especially the capital ship. And at the same time, It will also increase players' demand for minerals and ores through corporation buildings and more capital ships in the future. So there's more capital ships coming. There's more corporation buildings coming. They're giving us no details involved with that, which probably means they'll just drop it out of the blue. But so far, no word on what more capital ships they're going to be and what more corporation buildings that they're going to be. I would just like for them to fix the insurance structure stuff. I mean, the insurance building is useless. So, well, yeah, fix local, of course, Zen. I mean, Zen's going to type that every 5 minutes. Fix local. That's not going to help you get it done, buddy. Yeah, one thing at a time. I know. Well, they have to do it incrementally, Zen. We talked about this. One thing at a time is what they're actually doing. One character on the code. Let's see. Any others here? They're not going to push out the corporate missions into the alliance level, which is a shame. I think they should do that. Somebody did ask about a calculator in game. I love their answer. This should not be a technical or design problem, but we have not observed that many pilots have this demand for the time being. Maybe use your phone's built-in calculator as an alternative. I mean, rip.
that makes me have to back out of the game. That is really inconvenient.
It's extremely inconvenient because sometimes the game just has to completely reload when you do that. So,
yeah, I accidentally press my power button for 1 second and I have to reload my game.
Yeah.
Calculator.
They do talk about that they are looking at doing some new things with visual and sound effects. They're looking at doing new ship textures, gear effects, sound effects. There's all kinds of things with some stuff with music they're going to do too. They did talk about all that stuff's coming at some point as well. That's actually being worked on. That's interesting. I like that. I never have the sound on in this game, so okay.
They talk about the local one, couple down.
Yeah, let me scroll to it. Yeah, can you please focus some resources to fix the local window? It should remember my settings instead of resetting to large every warp and dock. Every time I warp and dock, it also starts blanking a lot and refreshing and fails to stay scrolled to the top. Thanks. And they said, thanks for your feedback. We have fixed this problem in the internal server. Does that mean the Chinese server? And we'll release the changes in the next few versions. So
right, they're going to implement the changes in increments. They're not going to do it in all one full pop.
Right, in the next few versions.
Yeah, interesting, huh?
Yeah. And then the last one. Long time ago, we were promised structures to increase the number of capsuleer outpost slots in a system. Will we ever get that? Can we get additional capsuleer outpost content, like upgrading them with more low slots, new features, nano cores, all that stuff? And then their answer is, first of all, the attributes provided by nanocore currently only account for a very small part. In comparison, the attributes provided by players' ships, equipment, and skills are significantly higher than those provided by nanocore. Secondly, we will also provide players with many ways to obtain nanocore and its upgraded materials for free in the game, such as BPs and events. We hope to balance the experience of paying players and free players, and we are carefully grasping the boundaries of payment. Hope that players can understand. So he skips completely over the when do we get more slots for our outposts. He just completely skips over that whole thing.
Didn't even answer that. It went straight to nanocore.
Yep.
I could care less for a nanocore on an outpost, but having more outposts in a system, in some sort of upgrade feature, like tied to a citadel or something, would be amazing. We just need more outpost slots.
Yep, that's a problem everybody runs into. You only get 5 to 8. I think 8 is the max. I'm pretty sure 8 is the max in a system.
8 is the max for a T10 system. Yes.
Yep. So we got one with 5 and we got one with 8. So that's it.
Yeah.
I got more than.
And there's not enough spots for every member to have an outpost either. So
it's always funny when you got a member who's like, "Oh, I just got my paws built. Where should I anchor it here in system?" And it's like, dude, we were full like 6 months ago. What do you mean? He goes, "What do you mean full? You mean I can't
There's
anchor
a wait
it?"
list.
Yeah. What do you mean I can't anchor it here next to in the same system as our Citadel? Well, I don't want it then if I can't do that. Well, why didn't you like?
And why did you buy it?
Why'd you buy it then? I don't know. I mean, why didn't you ask? Like, do you not know how this works?
Well, it looks like it's going to go 30 jumps away, and he has to go defend it himself.
I mean, I feel bad. I mean, it's kind of an elitist club of guys who've just been, with that corp for that's how it goes, right? If you've been with the corp long enough, you were first.
If they implemented an upgrade feature, say a T2 Citadel in a system, should grant you some additional outpost slots.
Yes.
Whether it be 2 or 4, and say a T3, gives you like 6 additional outpost slots, that would be freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And it's not really that hard of a change, and to get it out of that elitist club and to bring more people into being outpost owners.
Yep.
Yeah, they need to do something with that.
And if they're worried about it needing, now you're going to have too many ore wells, you're going to have too many gravity wells, then maybe you just cap that at a 5 or something, or 3 or whatever you wanted to cap it at. You can cap that. That's not that difficult either. Or so many per week that get launched or something. I mean, that's probably what their argument against it is, because that's the only thing about an outpost being in SOV versus not being in SOV that's different, is if it's not in your SOV, you can't have a gravity well or an ore well. So
right. And if it's not in SOV, it's most likely just got planetary mods.
Yeah. Which, I mean, no matter where you put an outpost, you're going to wind up with probably two planetary, 2 REMs. Unless you're one of those guys who drops an outpost in Syndicate and tries to build out of it.
I like Zen's answer. I have a POS somewhere, so he just launches his planetary, but he has no idea where it's at.
That's funny.
And it's been a while since I put fuel in my outpost. Does it automatically take from the?
No.
Okay, well, I might want to go check that.
You're in low power mode.
I haven't checked it in probably 2 months.
Oh God, it's probably dead. You didn't even know it, and it's dead.
Dude, I never go to it.
If it goes into low power mode and you strip the shield, you can strip the armor and go right to hull.
Oh geez, here we go.
Yep.
Influx, insurgence of reds and neutrals into my system now.
That's hysterical.
No, but seriously, I don't know. I need to check the fuel on it, but I haven't gotten anything saying that it needs fuel.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's probably needing fuel. It should automatically. It should just be an automatic thing. I don't know why.
I'm very confident. If it's in low power, somebody would have told me by now.
Yeah, you've probably moved it and just didn't realize it.
I don't even visit it. Like forward deployment and then just everyday logging in. I never go to my outpost.
Huh. Well, somehow you're moving your fuel over. Otherwise, it would be in low power, and then you wouldn't have enough fuel there to run your REMs.
I don't know. It's a mystery.
No one's found my paws in the south yet. Yeah. That's always fun to go, just mystery drop one somewhere and then see how long it takes them to figure out it's not theirs. Yeah, exactly. He puts plasmoids. It's full of plasmoids, so then it lasts for years. Yeah. Okay. That's all the game news stuff, all the AMAs, everything else there. Go right into our quick little thing of ads, and then we'll get into our main topic with our guests and the war updates and all that. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go.
Docking request accepted.
Achieved YouTube for people who want to achieve more.
I am a gamer and I'm a father of 4. My channel involves jokes, tips and tricks, podcasts and stories, as well as trying to give you that couch gaming feeling we all had back in the days, before internet. So if you want to improve your gameplay or way of playing your games today, I'm right here, and my community Discord are created to involve everyone to take part in enjoying a healthy gaming life. After I became a father, I lost touch with pretty much all my gaming friends, and playing on mobile as well as the computer sometimes, I still felt alone. I didn't really have anyone to talk to or share my gaming progress with. This channel is my way of making sure that if you are in the same situation I was, you can simply join us and experience it all anew. Subscribe and join now. Let us be your couch gaming friends on Achieved YouTube.
In a universe invaded by a constant threat of invasion by rocks, the brave men and women of the Council of Rick's mining fleet risk their lives every day in the hopes of holding back the oncoming onslaught of the rocks.
Through sweat of brow, valiant colonists dig up the precious minerals the Federation needs. It's an ore effort for the war effort, and they're not going to let a few bugs scare them off. The mobile infantry has begun escorting workers, many of them patriotic volunteers, back into the mines so they can keep excavating the future of humanity.
Do your part. Join a Terran Federation corporation today and become a citizen. Service guarantees citizenship.
Good morning, good evening, and good night, everyone.
I forgot that was in there.
Yeah, the ear blast.
I forgot.
War update.
I forgot
War
that was in there.
music.
Oops. That's funny. Join Tuna, together we can. Yes, that's a great ad. I love it.
More ads, people. More
yes,
ads.
we need more ads.
We need
That's
more.
That's an exact copy and paste from last week because I didn't have time to do a new one for tonight. I literally got out of the car from driving between Chicago and Kansas City, and 20 minutes later sat down to do this show. So I'm here suffering for you. I hope it's worth it.
Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah, definitely boring drive, Crimson. Okay, so now we're getting into the war update. Let's do a quick update with that. I know Zin's here, so if he wants to add anything in from his perspective, he most certainly can. Otherwise, Rambo, you saw the announcements today because I was driving, so...
Yeah, as of today, it seems like the war in the South is going to be concluded after this weekend. So I believe the Philly coalition will be disbanding and setting their standings back to neutral. And everybody will be neutral once again. So no big blue donut. And it seems like after today, there's some big damages that happened. Did you hear about these battles that happened today?
I did. I missed them because I was driving, but yeah, I did definitely see the kill mills.
7 dreadnoughts, and this was from the opposition. So ZRQ, I don't really know all the corps that were involved with this. Affiliated with the ZRQ Alliance and their allies, 7 dreads. I think most of them were Naglfars, and then a single Phoenix was in that group.
Mm-hmm.
So about 300 billion just in damages there. Let alone the number of citadels that have gone down in the last week. I couldn't even count. I mean, I asked for a count. I didn't get a count, but it's up there. It's not like 30 or anything, but I'd probably put it up over 10.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, crazy.
Oh, 7. Damon says 7.
Is it 7 citadels?
Yeah, one a day.
So
in the last week
it's been
or
crazy. crazy efforts. So, and looks like somebody just posted all the kill mails. Damon just posted all the kill mails. ZRQ, SED, ZRQ, ZRQ, HLM, ZRQ.
And if you look at the amount of damage taken by each one of those and the amount of damage put out by the ships with the kill mails, look at how low their percentages are. Right, that first one's kill mail, he gets the final shot, but he only did 3% of the damage. The second next is only 11% of the damage. You know, there's 73 ships on this guy.
Yeah.
Were they all capitals? Not quite, because there's a Tempest there that got a kill. That's awesome. But yeah, lots of vertical supremacy, taking out more vertical supremacy.
So yeah, that's basically it. The end of the war. The war was fun. There was a lot of blues that caused, I guess, a lot of chatter because of that, just the blue donut in general. But you know, the Philly coalition did a lot of damage. So I think they say it's about time.
Yep. There are a couple more.
I was gonna say, didn't MJD, if I quote him correctly, he said it was going to be a 2-week war. Pretty sure it's like, you know, honestly, it's probably pretty close to a 2-week war. It's at least 1 week.
Yeah, I was going to say not quite 2 weeks, but maybe a little under 2 weeks. But yeah, they estimated 2 weeks, and here we are about a week and a half into that. See, it feels like it's less than 2 weeks. I don't know. I'm losing track of time. It's hard to tell.
I don't know. I blink, and 3 days had passed.
Yeah.
Time is just flying.
Yeah,
so.
It really is. That time of the season.
And so, yeah, that's basically the war update there. And once everybody goes neutral, I guess we will be having fun content as neutrals to everybody. And so I believe Philly, everybody's going to be going home and doing some fun roams and all of that stuff. I already know I have members already wanting to do roams because they currently can't because of blue status, but
right.
Yeah. But anywho, that's really it on that.
Yeah, there's still 2 more CTAs called. Still a little bit of cleanup to do, I suppose, over the next few days, and then into the weekend, we'll see where it shapes up from there.
And I want to say I seen there was going to be something, and Zen, you can probably correct me if I'm wrong. I seen something about possibly doing a celebratory event for the Philly coalition. I had an idea of doing a parade. Why not just do a celebration parade through LoSec or something? I think that would be pretty cool. You know, with the members of the coalition, just do like a circle for however long, a victory parade. It's just an idea. I thought that would be cool, but
we should do that victory parade on Damon's on his freighter when he's trying to
victory parade through Terran Federation space.
There you go. I mean, TF is on the map. We know where they are. And it's not like we wouldn't be out of our way to go through there. Just saying. That's funny.
Anywho, yeah, we'll see if something happens with that. So that'll be cool.
He's got nothing there now. Yeah, he lost it all.
A nearly 8 billion Badger 2.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's stuff in the hold.
Why do you have a red scanner in a mid slot?
He's watching Benzi's videos apparently. Here, I'll unmute you real quick. You can explain that before we get the MC guys on. They're next. Go for it, Damon.
All right. So the Badger 2 was my high-sec pirating thing when I was bored. I'd scan down ships that were fighting, and then I would just warp to them and steal all the wrecks and all the loot in the Badger.
Very nice. Very nice. I like it. The Badger 2 is actually a tanky little sucker. So
Surprisingly It's only 361 insurance points.
Yeah, I
for
noticed that. Talk about that being all. I'm gonna mute you again, buddy, so we can get the MC guys on. Yeah, it's screwed up. Like, how does the insurance points not balance out with what the ISK value is above it? That doesn't.
Right?
Something's wrong with that.
That should have been. That should be like 4,000, 5,000 insurance points.
Something.
All right. Well, next on the show we will have the MC guys. So if you can please unmute Promised One. I hope they're ready. Promised One and Sanenightmare.
Okay, so I unmuted Sanenightmare, and where is Promised One? I saw him post a second ago, but now I don't see him.
Number 3 on the list.
There he is. Yep. There we go.
Welcome, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. How you doing?
I can't complain too much.
Good.
So, back when Mercenary Coalition was like, I guess, back in the day when they were an alliance, I was really just getting into the news, and I remember reporting kill mails and stuff from them, and seeing kill mails from them, and hearing about what they do. But then they kind of just fizzled away after the whole, I guess, Pew splitting off and doing their own thing. I don't really know what happened to MC after that. So after many, many moons, we now have Mercenary Coalition coming back. Is that correct?
Yes.
So that's pretty exciting. Tell us.
So MC still ran contracts and everything after the Pew split. Pew and Soon and the other corporations left. But most of the active leadership from, founding, myself, Promised, everybody else were kind of burnt out. So Big King Kaz, one of the other CEOs, was running it for a while. He got to that point and members kind of just trickled off and spread out. We've talked about it for months now and felt it was time, with the way the game's going now, to just bring it back and see what we can do.
Definitely had a lot of people reaching out to me over the last, I would say, 6 months or so. Just like, hey, are you coming back to E, or whatever the case may be. And I said, well, we'll evaluate it when it's time. But, enough people prod you. I was like, all right, let's blow some stuff up. So that's initially why I came back. I was like, all right, I'll create some content. And since capitals are in the game, and I have, more than 10 years of capital warfare and EVE Online, it's but that's hunting caps, so the people, general populace hasn't had that experience as a whole yet, of hunting, killing capitals and that type of content. So that's what I wanted to kind of do this time around. So it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, I was going to say the game is much different nowadays compared to when you guys were active last. So that's cool that you have a bunch of support to bring back the alliance. It seems like dead alliances are coming back. We had Terran Federation come back not too long ago. T-Rain. And and then I think just it was a whisper in the wind at the time that MC was coming back. I was like, oh, that'd be cool. I remember their logo, the flaming cards, right? And am I right on that, or am I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought that's what that was, and I know people are whispering that GHA is gonna come back, but
we brawled them once for no reason at all. We just were in their space, like, hey, do you guys want to fight? And they were like, okay, sure, why not? So we ended up having a multi-hour brawl in the middle of nowhere.
When was that? Because it's very possible I was part of that.
Oh God.
That was a long time ago. That was very early. That was the first. Was it the first test of the NATOs? Was that how early that was?
Yeah, that was Delve, when we were in Delve, right before we went to Fountain, sometime around there. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, we just took a random fleet out and we were reinforcing some stuff. And remember, we went out there and somebody had already RF'd 2 of those stations.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, oh, okay, well, somebody's doing the job for us. So we were just trying to look for a fight after that. I remember that. Anyway.
Yeah, and those memories, those experiences, I hope were good at that time. And yeah, people are saying GHA can stay dead. Bojangles is still around in case nobody knows.
Yeah.
So I think he'd hinted on my server that his presence is going to come with the update when drone regions open. So, but anyway,
but no, I'm definitely interested, to talk about another topic you talked about. There's a lot of things have changed in the game, a couple of those directly impacting, kind of the way that I used to FC. So, we've had to alter fittings and play around quite a bit lately to make the playstyle viable again. So I think that'll be a nice surprise.
Did you have to learn about like what the current metas are and
oh, absolutely.
PvP
Yeah, that's one of the things initially I was looking at, probably 2 weeks before we made an announcement, is looking through battle reports, what people are using, what the current meta as far as, battleships being a large part of it currently, which are, running at 1600 ms, much less mobile fleets. Some cases a little more, but much less mobile, more range dictated. And I would say that right now we're in a meta where a lot of the ships that you're going to fight are very tracking disruptor vulnerable. So that's definitely an analysis that I have from looking at kind of the big picture of fights happening across New Eden as a whole.
Right.
So I think that's definitely something that can be utilized, but it can't be a hinge, right? Because you can build a counter fleet to that if a particular FC runs tracking disruptor heavy, right?
Right.
So that's kind of how I see it right now. But a lot of more standoff fleets, at various ranges, less mobile. I'm seeing Scepter Warfare is still very popular. I see that hasn't changed since I've been gone.
Right.
Mostly with Scepter 2s versus regular Scepters, though. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah, basically it's just going through and finding all the counters that work with the way we used to operate.
Yeah. And then of course you have to adapt that, because if you want to kill for example, if you isolate a carrier or get them, and you want to kill it in under 5 minutes, then what's required to get there, right? So then it becomes theory crafting and math. That's what you want. You want 5 minutes and out. So that's a way to kill a target before response time becomes viable, unless there's a fleet on standby and they're ready for a counter drop, right? So that's essentially what you're looking at is what's the firepower required to make that happen.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why you'll see us off to a slow start, building members back up. We've actually had members logging in that we haven't seen in over a year, logging back on, activating their accounts again, getting rolling again. But we're also testing a lot of things, especially with the current contract that we took. We're just testing, trying out different options.
That's always the fun part of it, really. Messing around with the fittings, messing around with how those fittings correlate to the other ships next to you and how those things play off of one another. That's always a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. Going out, getting popped, going, oh, that didn't work.
That's the only way you can learn anything in this game, is to just go and do it and die and die fast and often, and just keep doing it, and you'll learn.
When we put 3 people, or initially when we were in Stain, we ran a training program for all of our pilots to kind of learn the basics and go out in PvP. And one of the first things we did was hand them a Thrasher. This was early on in the game, and fully fit. And we're like, here you go with this fleet and go die. And when you get back, we'll give you another one. And they're like, what? Okay, we got, and they go out and they have a great time, get some kills, the morale's high, and as long as the people enjoy themselves, they want to do it again, and they want to come back and continue to be a part of that. So that was a thing, we instilled early on in the pilots, is don't fear losing ships. It's about the fun, and the people that you have that fun with is more what it's about.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you how many thrashers we went through. Told them flat out, don't bring them back.
Well, that's an easier one to go and lose and not feel too bad about it. Losing an orthos on the other end.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. But I mean, we've found a way to do things cheap. We've always run cheaper doctrines, cheap fit, but still get the job done.
Yeah, you don't have to have bling. You don't have to go out there in a, $2 billion succubus in order to $2 billion.
Well, I mean,
to do it
like the other night.
But, yeah.
The other night, 5 SFIs, cheap fit, took out a 2.8 billion APOC striker.
Yeah, see, I kind of hate the SFIs for that very reason right there. But I mean, they're fun to fly, but it's kind of like, damn, can there just be something else besides that ugly stick to do that with?
It's ugly, but it's effective.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like a Moros. It's ugly, but it's effective.
I think everybody has their taste. Yeah.
Everybody does have a taste. Yeah.
I mean, with me, I've always flown, I would say pretty much canon from day one. I was like, okay, we want to be mobile. We want to have alpha. We want to be able to, essentially skip warp around the play field and be able to alpha ships off the field or reposition so that you're now engaging the trailing portion of an enemy fleet and then alpha ships off the field, right? So it was a lot about mobility, align and warp times, and that kind of thing, right? And with the changes, that the whole meta has really shifted quite a bit. So looking at carrier support, the current issues happening in the game that are affecting things from an FC perspective, the changes recently in although I would call it a nerf to the Guardian ships from a speed perspective, right? So that's kind of shifting the meta in its entirety.
Yeah, I think that's right now is your timing for coming back is perfect from the standpoint of where the game is in terms of the meta, like you just spoke about, but also in terms of where the game is when it comes to large alliances. Or large coalitions for that matter. Everything feels like it's broken up into some smaller groups with the exception of Silent. And so you've got plenty of places all over the map, really, where they're either fighting with each other or there's not really a dominant character or dominant alliance or corporation that's in the area. And so there's plenty of places for these small gang roams to 10, 15, 20 guys to go all over the map, even in the north, as they often do, as they did earlier this week with Santiago, who we'll talk to here in a little bit. But I mean, it's good. It's a good timing, and I think that's perfect for me. I don't mind CTAs. I don't mind big fleet battles. They're fun. The timing is always shit for me, but as it is for a lot of people. But when
I know about bad timing, man. I was like, we're gonna go fight Asians and all Asian timers in Delve. We can do it.
Yeah.
So I had everybody alarm clocking it for like a week until we drove PIBC out of Delve. Yeah.
Oh god, that was annoying.
Yeah. So we've all been there, done that. But getting to where we are now, you're gonna go do those roams. You can go do those roams whenever you want. You don't have to set it as a 3:30. Well, 4 a.m. ping. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's nice about the way we're doing it now. We're doing MC a little different structurally wise and just the way we operate. We're not having industry at all anymore.
Okay.
Period. We don't do SOV. We're a nomadic Merc Alliance. That's how we worked best when we first started out. Started getting pinned down by industry, all that other crap back and forth, and that's what inevitably led to tearing us apart.
So you often hear sometimes the poorest pilots in this game are PvP pilots.
No, man, I can validate that so hard.
Yeah.
People don't understand how thin the wallet was. Like, back in the day in MC, we were conservative when we won fights because the reality was we couldn't afford to lose. Like, just from an economic perspective, right? Like, we would take fights and you would see odds where it was like 90% to 10%, right? Of us over the enemy, because every loss we took, this is pre-insurance, of course, was, a direct loss that we had to replace. And we didn't really have a lot of industry in the early days. So it was a little bit more difficult for us. But yeah, the wallet was super thin back in the day.
So
yeah, I mean, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, for this go around, how are you going to count? I mean, yes, things are cheaper in the game, but also things are more expensive in the game from the standpoint of, an SFI is a cheap ship to go and do whatever you want to with, but you're going to have battleships. You're going to have rooks. You're going to have Raven strikers or something, right? So, I mean, that now you're getting to the billions. How are you going to do it this time around differently as far as your costs?
They have insurance this time around too.
That's true. They do have insurance this time around, but you're still going to make that plex to buy the insurance points, right? So eventually.
Yeah, we have insurance this go around. The main difference is before, whenever we do a contract, 90% of the funds went to PPK, went to the pilots. The Alliance, honestly, there were times me, Promised, Hurt, everybody was scraping together what we had to pay out SRP out of our own pockets because the Alliance didn't make a dime.
Right.
This go around, there's more funds going to the Alliance to cover SRP, to make sure you go on that fleet, you got your ship back immediately. We've got spares sitting in corp hangars, things like that.
Gotcha.
So there will be PPK at some point. First contract or two, no. We're basically building the war chest, making sure we're covered. So when we do have to field those bigger fleets, if we take a loss, it's not as big of a deal.
Yeah. The other part of that is, it's going to take a while to train people to understand the concept and the particulars between hunting capitals, because there's a lot of pieces involved, right? You have to initially use things like, characters that, you got to have in a system that might be neutral, but they're there just to check to see what's going on, looking for capitals, gaining intel. And then when the time is right and all the chess pieces have been moved, then you drop that nerd and kill him real quick and scoop their loot and bounce. And then, 2 days later, you might be on the other side of the galaxy doing the same thing.
Right.
Never in the same place twice. And that's what it's all about. But rather than having to move the capitals, you just have capitals and stashed in both places. And you just take an interceptor and go to the other staging point, do the same thing.
Right.
So that's, that's power projection through a different means, right? But teaching those skills is going to take a while, and that's kind of the phase that we're in now.
Yeah. I think everybody goes through those phases, whether the way you guys have things set up, or even just a regular old corporation that's mining, industry, solving the whole 9 yards. You've got attrition that happens. You've got T10 guys that get to T10 then leave. Then you got T6 guys who want to try to fly the same way the T10 guys are trying to fly, and they can't. So there's always a training curve going on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And this is going to be the first time where initially everybody was on the same curve, throughout the growth of MC in the early days. And now we're going to get pilots from the full spectrum, right. New players, old players, and doctrines have to be able to accommodate all of those people. So you can't necessarily 5-5-5 everything and be like, that's the minimum to get in the fleet, because you alienate a large amount of players. So that does affect doctrine's potency a little bit.
My theory on those new players that are coming in that really want to get into the fleet engagements, you put them in a dictator and let them die.
That's where
tackle is always needed, man. Yep. Tackle is always needed.
Yep,
always. Well, our old doctrines from back in the old days, everything was built on 4-4. That's all you needed.
Yep.
And it was effective, and it doesn't take long to get to. So we've got options for pilots of any tech level, skill level, whatever. It doesn't matter if you've never PvP'd a day. We'll train you.
That's good, because I think a lot of people get into this game and play it for a long time, not realizing that PvP is a thing that happens to you every single day, and you better be ready for it. And I don't like the whole I say that MJD thinks I'm nuts, but I'm like, I always tell him there's no such thing as a PvE fit. There's someone's shitty fit that's waiting to die by PvP. Yeah. That's what that is.
Yep.
So
that's me. That's me.
That was my carrier. Anyway.
Hey, do you guys remember the day that basically was the day that the Dictor bubbles came out?
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
And I had one so fast. And I was like, all right, here we go. Throw a bubble. And it was just constant, endless destruction for hours.
Yep.
until people realized what was going on, because they were like, "What patch updates? What are those?"
Yep.
But yeah, no, man, that was a pretty crazy time.
Well, that's like
Yeah.
even when we had industry, our indie guys on their retrievers and everything, they were PvP fit. I can remember, seeing pings in Discord that, they had somebody on them in a belt or whatever, and you hop in comms. Do you need help? No, we got them tackled. We're killing them. Wait, what?
Yeah. That's the way you got to fit your mining barges. That's the way you got to fit everything. You got to be ready for it. You got to anticipate it, So, and yes, you're giving up some efficiencies and DPS when you're ratting. You're giving up some efficiencies when you're, the amount of time it takes to haul the ore in or whatever else. But you're giving yourself some longevity, and you're giving yourself an ability to actually do what the whole game is about, which is fighting. So
Yeah, I mean, nullsec is not safe. It was never meant to be.
Nope.
That's the truth. Well, just to wrap it up on the MC, and I think all I really wanted to say is, we're glad to be coming back. Regardless of where we end up in New Eden, if we're shooting at you or you're helping us shoot other people or whatever the case may be, or if you just want to do some training and you want to just duke it out, I'm down for that too. We're happy to be back and want to be a part of what's going on. So if you need a contractor, if you need somebody to be shot and you don't feel like doing it, or you just want to watch two people go at it because you have money, and I'll gladly take it, then reach out and we'll shoot people for you.
Coin is king.
Sounds good. Well, thanks, guys. Get an ad for us. We'll play it on the next show, or whenever you give me the ad, or give Rambo the ad. We'll make sure to incorporate it and play it on the show. Help you guys with your recruitment for all those PvP pilots out there that want to go and join MC. Sounds like fun. I'm going to go ahead.
Thanks, guys.
Yep, thanks, guys. I'm going to mute you, and we'll move over to our other guest,
Santiago.
Santiago. Where are you at?
Ready.
Where are you at, you son bitch? No, I'm kidding.
Very bottom.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Man. So
we were supposed to have Oz here with us too, but he some things came up and he decided he couldn't make it. So
yeah, bummer.
I heard he's on the phone with Epitaph. So
it's possible, very possible.
but that's always the case. So.
So this is the first time I've ever actually spoke to you, Santiago. So it's nice meeting you. I know. Heck, I think I messaged you for the first time in Discord today, just to let you know about the show.
Yeah.
But I've commented on a couple of your Reddit posts and stuff like that, and it's always just been good, fun stuff too. But what is this Santiago Destroys meme about?
That all came from, I guess, a screenshot. I went to wherever the last YTech Z, I think, at the back of Vale. I don't remember if I was hitting a time or I just made one or something, but I said in local, Santiago comes, then Santiago destroys, and just forgot about it. And then I think one of them shared a screenshot somewhere, and it just started getting passed around. And then everywhere I went, it was just Santiago destroys, and it became like a gulag meme.
Nice.
I love the video of the penguins with all that at the end here, the GenFed conflict.
That was one of my favorite
so
little meme videos I've seen. Yeah.
Yep, that was really good. It was really well done. I laughed so hard.
That was a good one. Yep. The commentary was perfect.
Yeah.
So so Santiago, in the game though, are you an FC? Do you consider yourself an FC, or do you take a seat with the other pilots and do roams?
Yeah, I do a fair bit of FCing. I'm perfectly down to just jump in a fleet and tag along. I just kind of want to go for the content, but I'll do a fair bit of it myself as well, especially on a lot of the bigger CTA type things when there's only certain people. I mean, the pool is a little smaller, so I was doing a lot of those 6 months ago probably, and then a few 2 or 3 months ago as well, but mostly small, more so medium type stuff is probably my favorite.
Yeah, with the large battles and major wars, most of the time you see like the senior FCs or possibly even kind of the more experienced FCs that may not be considered senior FCs. But majority of the FCs mostly do, small gang or kind of the medium squad type setups. But yeah, that's I guess you're quite the FC, and I think Taylor Rick can vouch for that.
That was fun. That was a fun one. I just jumped into another fleet and messaged a couple people, and yeah, we went up north.
You know,
the rest is history, I guess.
What's funny about that is I was literally passing intel to everybody, telling everybody where your group was at.
The Inti snuck in there, I guess.
Yeah, well, a Dictor and an Inti, I kind of knew where they were too, but funny story. My anti-tackle wingman literally had a box drop next to me that he was using for the warp-in spot to go back and forth and pick up loot, and I didn't see it until that Dictor actually warped right to me, and I'm like, wait a minute, how do you do that?
No, that was my ult. That was my Inti ult.
Yeah, there you go.
I went into the ANOM, and I was like, oh, guys, he's 400 off. And then I was like, wait, there's a box. I was like, okay, I guess I'll warp to this box. And I was like, oh, okay, he's still here. I'll point him.
Wow.
Normally, as soon as I see someone,
drones are 400K.
Exactly, and normally when fighters are, but normally when I'm doing that, I'm kind of waiting because I want to see exactly who's going where. And in this case, I shouldn't have done that. But usually, when someone jumps into the ANOM, that's instantly when I'm SHHNO out. I SHHNO out, but not this time.
Yeah, I didn't expect when I landed. I didn't expect much to come of that one.
Yeah. Well, you got a little something a few minutes after that video on Reddit stopped. That's when Bot 5 came into system from JU.
I literally sat there for a second and thought to myself, should I just stop recording? Or I was like, oh, this is probably the highlights. So I stopped it. And then I was like, afterwards, as soon as I started going through it, I was like, God, I should have kept the end.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Oh well.
Well, it's funny that I had, and just going through the kill logs or whatever, the intel that I see, I actually saw that your fleet, Santiago, I don't know if you're FCing it or not, but that fleet that you were in, I actually saw them. I saw the kill mails for those before I saw Taylor's lost mail. So I was kind of, later throughout the day, I kind of realized that, Taylor lost his carrier to this roaming fleet, and he knew the intel and all this stuff, and kind of trying to figure out what happened. And so I'm getting all this info, and then I see the video on Reddit, and I see it, and of course, the video stops. I'm scrolling through the comments, and you even said it yourself. You cut it right at the perfect time, because then nobody got to witness your fleet get smashed.
Yeah.
Well, I warped to the gate and then saw local spike, and I was like, I looked at my autopilot. It said one jump, and I was like, one jump, that's weird. But then it's just so local. I was like, okay, the gate's clear, let's just jump. And then I pulled up the map, and I was like, oh no, I'm in a dead end. And then I looked, and I'm in a bubble, and I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah, you went to.
And then the SHHNO came, and the rest, and then it was over pretty quick. Yeah.
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 Good times.
So that's why I LOL'd at that comment when you said that, because I was like, oh yeah, I remember seeing all the kill mails that had happened.
Oh yeah. There were quite a few.
Yeah.
No, I didn't think it was going to break, to be honest. There was about 5 minutes in, I was like, I don't think this is going to happen. Did your cap run out, or was I never actually heard your perspective.
Yeah, Taylor. What happened, Taylor?
Well, I was tanking you guys for a while there, and then yes, my cap did finally get to where I just couldn't quite hold the cap up anymore for repping. And as soon as the shield broke, then that was when I started to go down a lot faster. But I don't know, for that fit.
It took a good 8-9 minutes probably.
Yeah, it should have been long
close
enough.
To 8.
It should have been long enough for anybody to come in and help me.
Well, another 2 minutes, and I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Would have been enough.
Exactly. Well, I don't think anybody told, because that was Bot 5 that was one jump away, and of course, we're in our alliance chat, they're in their alliance chat, so there was this delay of information, and that's always a tricky thing to get to kind of get through with that inter-alliance communication sometimes, right?
Oh, they're in a different alliance, so they weren't seeing it.
They weren't seeing it in the same alliance chat. Correct. Yeah. So that's always kind of difficult. But something you can probably fix at some point. So
hopefully.
No, I mean, and that fit isn't even a full tank fit. The guys were right earlier when we were talking about that. It's not quite a glass cannon fit, but no, my rigs are not. They're all for DPS. They're not for. They're for
one
cap,
more red.
CCCs
I don't think it would have broke.
Yeah, I probably, the next build. Well, see, this is the thing about this that I like, and this is what people miss sometimes. Am I upset that I lost a carrier? Yeah, it's 38 billion ISK. It took me a long time to build the frickin' thing. Okay. Not just the 12-day button push at the end, right? But at the same time, I learned something from it. And when you die, regardless of what ship you're in, you're going to learn something. And so for me, it was a great experience from the standpoint of, okay, there's about 4 or 5 things that went wrong. If the very first thing that went wrong I would have done like I normally do, then you would have never even seen me, wouldn't have been there. If my wingman hadn't dropped a loot box, I would have been SHHNO'd out as soon as you came to the system. You would have never seen me. It would have been fine.
It was fluky for sure.
It was definitely fluky. And then the third thing,
I think it's 2 or 3 times I've gone into a rally and then it warps out or cloaks or something.
Right, exactly. So, and then there's other little things on top of that as well that kind of went wrong. It was a whole calamity of events, really. But, the number one thing, of course, is follow your gut. If you're going to be set up like that and you're going to wait until someone is getting close before you SHHNO, then just do that. SHHNO as soon as they're getting close and be done with it. Don't worry about wasting your time to set back up and all that other stuff, right? It's you just do it. So, and then of course with the fit, I was very impressed with that fitting. 1.25 million hit points. I was very impressed.
That's a lot for a carrier.
That's not bad. Not bad. Include for not even being a tank fit. I managed the 2 batteries fairly well. I managed the one shield booster fairly well. I could tweak a few things on that and learn from it, and probably be able to tank a lot longer. Hopefully 10 minutes. That'd be my goal. Try to get a carrier to go for 10 minutes. Then of course,
Well, it's a balance between how fast do I want to go through these rats and how
correct.
long do I want to last if I'm in trouble. Yeah.
Well, I just want to last a few minutes more, and then I'm okay. But I mean, really, and that's it too. For the other guys that are sitting around watching all this happening, they were warping in on you one at a time, like noobs.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean, if they'd all come in together, a few things could have definitely switched how that went for sure.
Yeah.
That's what makes it fun.
That's what makes it fun. That's what makes it great. So all good times. Looking forward to getting the second one out there and doing it again.
What were the adrenaline levels at the time of that battle?
High. I mean, comms. I knew we could get it. I wasn't sure. So comms there was one point someone was like, because a lot of us were just quiet and sort of focusing, and someone was like, guys, someone FC, what do we do? It was an armor fleet, which is obviously different, and I've hardly done any of those.
I noticed that. Yeah.
So yeah, but with that small of a fleet, it can work, but it's the sort of thing that works until it doesn't. But no, I mean, it was exciting and the adrenaline was high, which is why I think no one even stopped me when we jumped the dead end system. Our adrenaline was through the roof trying to kill that carrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now you just want to get out without getting caught. Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, when local goes from 24 to 53, it's like, okay, I think we're in trouble now.
But, yep.
Yeah. There's a can of whoop ass about ready to be open.
You don't want to be sharing that kill man local when you see local jump like that.
Well, it auto shares. If you hadn't noticed, if you're in a fleet, kill mail's auto share.
Yeah, in local though, like.
and I think it even does your lost mails too. So
Taylor
couldn't hide that.
Yeah.
Oh, you were in a fleet. Yeah.
Yep, I was.
But Taylor, like, how was your adrenaline too fighting off? How many were there on you?
20. I think they had 22 at one point.
Oh man.
So. I mean, it's pretty high. I mean, that's the first time I've ever been tackled in my carrier. I mean, I've had the carrier for 2 months, maybe 3. And that's the first time I'd ever gotten tackled. And I have PvP before, but I just never been tackled. And I'd never PvP'd quite like that, especially in one of my home systems when I knew it was coming for, 12 jumps.
I did that with Honk one time. One of them came in and I knew there were more, and I was like, oh, I'll just fight him. It was like a year ago in Fountain.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll just fight this Hector, and then as soon as the bubble goes up, I see local, and I'm like, well, that's not good. That wasn't a good idea.
Yeah. Well, I really honestly, when the dictator came in on me, I was like, okay, well, I can take that out. and I had the drones already coming back. Once I was tackled anyway, I figured, well, maybe I can get that out fast enough and be able to SHHNO still. I had full cap. But that's when my wingman decided to warp off and go get his APOC striker instead of just stay there and help.
Was that the Dramiel or the Scepter?
That was the Scepter that was sitting there, and he warped off and came back in an APOC striker. So
yeah,
he should have just stayed there. And
that striker died fast.
He died real fast. Yeah. So, so did the Tempest that warped in. So did the Dami that warped in. So did the because they all came in separately. So. But they should have all come in together. But anyway, that's another story. No, the
carriers are tough though, man. There's probably only half the times I've been on grid with them in like Gemini or Decline or Branch. Like only half, if that, you get one. Like a lot of times they're going to get away, or just with just enough help, they're going to get your fleet out of there.
Yeah, I think if I would have targeted correct, that's the other thing too, with the whole adrenaline rush, and then I'm trying to tell people intel and what's going on, and you try to do that on Discord while you're trying to save your own carrier and telling your court mates what to do, and try to type in local. You're doing a whole bunch of things. One of the guys said, "Dude, you should have just picked up your phone and called me when that was happening. I would have gotten on real quick and undocked." And
okay,
yeah, sure. How are you going to do that in the middle of all that? I mean, and your adrenaline's going, you get that tunnel vision, in your eyes. You just kind of everything, you can't see anything but what you're really looking at or focusing on. Everything else seems to melt away. And yeah, that's difficult to do. But I think if I would have just ignored the small shit, like the
gone for the Mac.
Yeah, I should have just gone straight for the Mac. That's really what I should have done. I should have gone straight for all the DPS, because then I could have tanked the rest of your small stuff, and then I could have.
Without the Mac, it was 35% on the kill mail. So,
it was, yeah.
I mean, the fleet was with the 4 or 5 Guardians. It wasn't much DPS. So with Mac not there, it's not happening.
Right, right. Yeah. Then all the other support ships that kind of came in one piece at a time would have actually been nice. So.
Oh yeah. But yeah, you're handling it good. Though my old core mate Xville, he had that nag that tanked like for 2 or 3 hours probably, and and delve near the beginning of caps, and he had to take a little break. It's a lot unless you have you can get it one in the oven or you have one ready.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's still going to take me a little bit to get the replacement going, but still, I mean, that's if you're flying a ship like that, you've got to be ready for and prepared for the loss of that ship and just instantly replace it, or be ready to replace whatever you're doing, right? It doesn't matter. You would do that with an APOC striker. You would do that with a Scepter. The only difference is you have insurance. And in this case, I didn't have 60. I'm never going to have 65, 70,000 IP. When it comes to a capital, I fly it with the expectation that I'm going to lose it, and I just need to always be working on replacing it. That's it. And I think if you do that as a capital pilot, then you're going to feel a whole lot better about what you're doing, and a whole lot better about when you do lose it, because you will, whether it's to accidents like warping to 0 with rats like PM Blue, or me not signing out when they were 3 jumps away.
Right. At least the fleet died though.
Yeah, I mean, that's good.
Compensation.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, whether you would have or not, it's still a good learning curve. But yeah, that's always nice to hear that. 3 minutes later, you guys got it. So cool, And now in the area, don't go to ZZZ. That's a dead end.
Unless there was nothing in whatever the MX or whatever the other one is.
Yeah.
I'm scanning it.
I will tell you though, if I was in either one of your shoes in that battle, I would have been freaking shaking like mad and not knowing what to do. I get serious jitters and stuff like that when it comes to PvP and stuff like that. Yeah, serious jitters.
Well, I'm sure everybody does. Even the most experienced guys are going to have that from time to time. It's just a matter. It's the thrill, right? It's what we're here for. Even if you're just a miner and you just mine all day, like Snacks does. I know he's here in comms. You get a thrill out of those times when you're sitting there mining, and a Scepter or an SFI comes in on your bank of barges and you kill him. I mean, that's fun. That's what this game is. That's what this game is, regardless of your play style. Whenever you get that chance for PvP, you may decide you don't like it, but you sure had an adrenaline rush when it happened, and you're never going to forget that. You're going to forget the times you ratted and hit a 13 million tick for your first time, because you'll get more. You're going to forget the times you mined and got enough for that ship, because now you're just flying that ship. You'll never forget when you lose something you spent all that time building, and you'll never forget when you killed something with that ship you spent all that time building up towards, whether it's to buy or to build or whatever. And that's what this game is. So a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I play for the 20, 30, 40 minutes on grid, right? Not all the other stuff you do to get to the grid.
Right. Everything else is just a grind to get there.
Yeah.
Right.
What's that high that you get? It's that high.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's like tunnel vision when it's happening, and you're just, okay, I'm orbiting here, I'm approaching here, I'm approaching that guy, I'm doing all this. Then the trouble comes when you've got to shift gears, and it's like, okay, now we're getting out of here, and now we're doing this, or you know,
or you're sitting and waiting.
Oh, that's the worst.
It is. We had a group,
especially when you woke up at 5 or 6, and then you're just waiting, or nothing happens.
Yeah.
Right.
We had a group of Cinnables we were chasing last night, and we wound up just waiting 20, 25, 30, 35 minutes. That sucked. That's the worst. Then they just logged off.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Don't you hate it when that happens?
I do. I heard somebody make a comment, they should just make the logging off thing like not legal. Like they should just make it to where you can't do that. And I'm like, dude, it's a mobile game. Like you have to be able to log off.
Yeah, if you can't get them before they logged off, and it's your fault.
Yeah. I mean, that's just part of it. That's a mechanic, just like anything else.
Well, they used to have that log off immunity where you close your game out and then you could warp wherever you want. But then they implemented that like 5-second warp time thing, and then you can still get tackled even though you're logged off until the ship.
Yeah, I think I lost to SHHNO to that one time.
Yeah. So
you used to be able to switch your characters really fast too, and I don't think you can do that anymore either. As in, like in your one.
I've still been doing that, thinking it works.
You still works, so you can switch to your alt on the same account.
Well, no, sometimes now I just quit just to be safe and let the timer go down if I know I'm not tackled. That's the safe way to do it, I think.
You used to have a guy do that where he'd switch between his barge and his daredevil. So if someone jumped him in his barge, he would swap real quick, and the daredevil would show up right where the barge was.
Oh no! It's so weird. I didn't know that was you. That even I don't think so. Maybe today when or when I talked to Oz or something. But I think I've listened to 2 or 3 BL shows. But y'all do a good job.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Rambo's been doing this for a long time. I just came on at the start of the year to help out, and it's been fun. I enjoy it. Rambo's awesome. So, show's a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. And so I mean that was basically it. Do you usually roam the north, or do you generally go around New Eden? Where's the most?
I was actually in Void Space until right around 30 minutes ago, probably. And I think I died to an SHHNO and a Nihilist. I got too close, and he got his webs on me. But they form up pretty quick. Void does over there.
Sometimes they do, yes, and they sometimes they do it a little stealthy too, where you think there's nobody there, and then you realize, oh shit, I'm at the end of a very long pocket, and they're at the front of it.
5 or 10 people at every gate.
Yeah, exactly.
But I go to lately. I mean, we were in Geminate for a month or 2, up north a bit, then Genfed-ish in like East Genfed a little bit. I did go to D6 to try to bubble the coalition fleet, but I dozed off and didn't catch where it was going. But I sort of go everywhere, just kind of where the action is, I guess.
Santiago roams.
What do you think? Are you guys excited to be neutral again? What do you think is going to happen over the next month or 2?
Yeah, I know I am from my standpoint. And I know exactly what that's going to kind of entail or mean for us in my corp anyway, and in our alliance, and then Silent as a whole. Rambo, what are your thoughts on that before I go into it?
So overall, I'd be happy to go back to resetting standings throughout New Eden, and just seeing, just for that PvP content and roamers and all that stuff, because I do like to see different faces occasionally too. Not just the same people every day. because it's like, oh, this guy again. Come on, just like, don't you ever go anywhere else, you know? But but you know, with the war over, I could put more focus back into my corp and more at home type stuff, because you know, I haven't checked my POS in probably 2 months, and I probably should fleet up with some of the guys. So yeah, that's my take.
I remember Stoney saying almost the exact same thing back in like October, I think, or November after the Panther War. I mean, I think people get tired after the 4 or 6 hour CTA. This war was a little different than the last one. Last one I did some 30-hour, 40-hour almost weekends with CTAs.
Ooh.
So I don't know how it was for y'all. I didn't really pay super close attention, but a little bit. But with y'all's like CTA lengths and things like that, but it can be tiring, and sometimes you got to take even if it's not a break, it's just not quite so intense for a while, you know.
Mm-hmm. No, it's always more intense at the beginning. You know, you look at the stats of you know, fleet sizes and comms and how many ships are in you know, moving together, and how many of those different fleets are in different areas at the same time as well. You know, the numbers were very, very high in the first couple of weeks, or the first couple of days actually of this last one. Then moving back to GenFed for the first few weeks, it was also exceedingly high. And then it always trails off. You just get some guys that maybe just get a little burned out and can't do it all day long. And then, of course, with the timers, because, you know, the first couple of days is when you're setting all the timers, right? You're stripping the shields and you're going back again and doing the armor. And so you kind of set those times. But then when you get into hull for that next week, that's when things always kind of start to slow down a little bit, just because of the timing. You know, for me, it's like every single one of these CTAs always felt like it was right in the middle of the week, right at the beginning of the workday, or in the middle of the workday.
Mm-hmm.
Every single day for me. Yeah. Well, the ones that are in the middle of the night, I had an easier time doing, and the Saturdays I have an easier time doing. It's when it comes at the expense of work. You know, that's
it's all these EU whole timers.
Yeah, these damn Europeans, but that make up like 2/3 of the game. It feels like.
Right.
Yeah. So. Yeah, exactly. Stop hiding timers in time zones you can't protect.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, that's strategy. It's a good strategy. So you just have to play with it. That's part of what makes it fun. Trying to handle all that. So for me, though, I mean, I am really looking forward to. I'm more of a skirmish FC. When I FC things, it's always skirmish. It's always 10, 20-man fleets. And I'm really looking forward to doing that again, because I haven't been able to really do a skirmish fleet since the balance patch. And we've changed up our ship types for skirmish. Before, we would have Cyclone Guardians, Cyclones, and ships like that, and now we've changed that a little bit. And I'm really looking forward to flying the Phantasm again. It's been a long time since I've flown the Phant, and for the first time, even though I'm always been a laser pilot. Well, I was a Rails guy in EVE Online, and now I'm a laser pilot in EVE Echoes, which was weird and hard to swallow at first, but I'm used to it now. Mm-hmm. It's really nice to have all three. You know, I've got the Succubus, the Phantasm, and the Nightmare, all nanocored, all maxed out. It's nice to have all three of those in one hangar sitting next to one another.
How fast that Nightmare go?
With a small bubble up on the Nightmare, I'm going 1200.
Oh, yeah, that nerf.
Yeah, because it's a guard. Yeah, the nerf kills it, but it's still, you know, it's a Guardian. But yeah, I mean, it still moves. 1200 with the bubble up isn't bad. So.
Yeah. So Santiago, I was going to ask you, what's your opinion on the southern content you have down there now?
The South is interesting right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different groups, and there's a lot going on. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Delve didn't implode, so we'll see if Exotarian period basis, where everyone is down there. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I was actually getting ships out of period basis from the war, and I had a lot of neutrals down there. Even though a lot of people were saying that, you know, big blue donut, whatever, I was like, I was seeing more neutrals than blues, and so I was like, okay, that can't possibly be it. But them being neutral, them just that that's I was just visualizing it as, wow, these are all new alliances kind of just coming up, and these are alliances I've never seen before or heard before, and I could only imagine what it's like for people that actually live in that area.
Wild
Yeah.
West.
Right, that's what Delve sort of turned into, and it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Delve now, because after a few months, you sort of get your groups set up again, and there might be, who knows what will happen over there.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't you say the same thing about Fountain though? Because isn't Fountain like always contested?
Fountain is more the Wild West. It's kind of hard to defend, and there's the deep pockets, but it's not a fun place to sort of. We in Blap and then Pantheon, it would always be sort of like, who can we put over here in Fountain? And people wouldn't like. No one ever even went to. No one ever even lived hardly in Wire and J, and that whatever the pocket is right by Hopib or whatever the constellation is. People didn't even want to live there because they didn't really like that pocket because it's so close to Hopib.
Right. Yeah.
People just don't love except for the pocket right by Delve, which is nice, and then there's where Ret C lives, which is nice. There's just not a lot of like NPC stations in the right places, and a lot of stuff about Fountain that I think people don't like. I don't know, but there's a good bit of fighting there, but I think it's like mainly Boop and DF or whoever's over there on that side.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is all the way around. I mean, there's a lot of different areas having a lot of different stuff going on. It's going to be interesting to see how all that stuff shakes up.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We've got the Hunger Memes coming in a couple of months, and so I'm sure we'll get plenty of memes out of all these areas with the new alliances and the new coalitions forming and groups forming, and whether they're bluing each other or not, or going to war with one another. It'll be interesting. So, and definitely a good time for these small gang roams and small gang warfare. So,
yeah.
Oh yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, we're probably not going to be seeing the blobs for a few weeks or months. Not until the next big war anyway. It's going to be all like smaller, under 30 probably.
Right. It'll be interesting to see how many caps are used in the smaller stuff.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Definitely. Those are fun. Hot dropping on a gate camp is just a joy. So, yep.
Pure blind. Pure blind. What's that?
It's a wall, is what it is.
Well, yeah. I mean, pure blind is empty. Anybody that wants to come settle pure blind, go for it.
Yeah.
Not saying you're not going to have visitors coming through every once in a while, but we're not going to actively try to stone you to death. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. It was like, what
there
if?
it is.
Okay, so yeah, SHH made an official statement about releasing Pure Blind as Federation space. So they aren't going to defend that area like they have in the past. They did have corporations that lived in Pure Blind. I believe they are moving out.
They are.
And I think EC is remaining to be in honk possession.
Yeah, it has too much nostalgic value to
at this
give
point.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah. EC is staying, and I think there was another one that was staying, but otherwise, Pure Blind is up for grabs for alliances that want to, I guess, take claim to that territory.
Maybe MC will change their mind and decide they need a home.
Pee everywhere. Yeah.
But I was like, well, newcomer alliances, do they really want to be next to SHH though?
I don't know.
And they're relatively close to no as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
But if they enjoy the PvP content, it can go both ways.
Right. It's definitely a very good way to get your feet. Yeah, as Cyril just said, it's a good way to get your feet wet. It's a good way for those new corporations that don't know where to go or have anywhere else that they want to go, but there's an open spot, and if they want to go and put down Sov there, I'm not saying that they're going to be protected by a silent. I'm not saying that we're going to be like keeping anybody else from hitting them, and we're not saying that we're not going to like have guys go through and roam them either. So it will be a rough area for sure, but for me and my guys, we're not going to go try to blow up their outposts or their citadels just for the fear shit of it. No, it's open for them to come settle, and let's have some neighbors. So, all good. Exactly. They should start by learning nullsec, Bradrick. I know. What better way to do that than just go drop use MP stations and drop an outpost down. Mine out of that. Build ships out of that. That's okay.
So, yeah. Well, Santiago, it was a pleasure actually speaking
Yeah, same
with
here.
you
Same here.
and-
Nice to meet you
and
guys.
having you,
Yeah, you too, man.
and
Thanks for
having
coming
you
on.
on the show. And if you we do this every Thursday night. If you ever want to hang out, we always have a good time here and talk about general Eve Echo stuff when we stay on topic.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, sounds good.
I enjoy your videos, even though I may.
Oh, thank you.
Even though I may say I fell asleep to them, no, I actually do watch them, and I do like your your Reddit posts and stuff like that. So keep up with that, and I'll be seeing you around, I'm sure.
Yep. See you around, guys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
I think that's about it. We got anything else?
No, we're hitting like a 2-hour show, aren't we?
We are. Yeah. Yeah. Good times. Always fun.
So, yes. Dang, we hit a lot of topics and a lot of stuff on tonight, and had some good guests, and quite the show.
Yep, as always. So make sure to go over to the YouTube and subscribe over there as well. Our subscriber count is kind of low. We need to get that up. So if you could do that, ladies and gentlemen, go over there and subscribe onto that. That would be great. Make sure to go to the Reddit, the actual Reddit, the Echoes_Eve Reddit is the real one. That's where we're at. That's where you're going to see posts from Bradrick. His whole encyclopedia is up there. You'll see stuff from Santiago, who was just on a minute ago. That's a very vibrant Reddit. If you didn't know, and you're on the main Echoes Reddit, the Echoes_Eve Reddit is always hopping, and there's no moderation. Censorship. Yeah, there's moderation, but there's no censorship of your language. Well, a language maybe, but of whatever you want to say and whatever you want to talk about. So come join us over there. That's always fun. And, of course, all the other content creators for Echoes. Damon Zell, who's usually on with us. Damon, thank you, sir. Thank you for all of your content. We haven't seen a video from you in like 2 weeks. I'm getting kind of worried that you're just doing nothing but playing Diablo.
Rip.
And then, of course, Big Skillet, Scipio, that's Killmark
Chicken's
Collectors.
in with us tonight, too.
Chicken's in with us tonight. Yep. So new one drops tomorrow. Good job, Damon. You'll probably wait until they give you some info in the morning and then go from there. Yeah, it's all good, buddy. I'm just giving you shit. And, of course, there's Benzie. Benzie's got good videos for new players who don't know any better yet. So go watch that if you're brand new. And, chicken videos. There's so much content. That's another thing we should probably do one of these shows, Rambo, is where we just kind of go through all the different content creators. I know we've talked about doing a roundtable at some point for all the content creators. We should do that. That'd be fun.
Should we have a content creator episode?
Yeah. That'd be a good time. That'd be a good time.
If Chicken's here, Damon, we can get some more.
We're pretty close some nights. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So, cool.
Yeah, they did. They started putting together a new master list over on Reddit. I did see that. That was awesome, Damon. So, all right. I guess that's it for the show. We'll be back here next week. Until then, fly passive-aggressive into the sun.
Passive-aggressive 07.